Right, good morning. This is sort of my favourite roads to ride around by our house, White Road. Just immediately sort of Hebden Bridge over the top of the moor. Anyway, what I thought I'd do is obviously I'm on the Genesis Equilibrium. So I've had it a couple of weeks now and I've done about 200 miles on it. Typically it's just started to rain as I started doing this video, even though it's been glorious sunshine the whole rest of the way, but hey ho. So I thought I'd do a video just giving some of the pros and cons, because obviously it's quite difficult to get out and test ride bikes at the moment. And Genesis have just released their new range of bikes, so the chances of you actually getting to ride one are pretty slim. See, as I was saying, I did a 200k Audax last week on it, through the Dales, just shy of 10,000 feet of climbing, so I got to know it pretty well. Plus another few rides around here. So I thought I'd start with the pros of the bike, and then move on to some of what I think are the cons. So the first pro for me is the ride. I mean, this is a traditional old school steel frame bike and it does that really well. It's so comfortable. So that's one of the pros, sorry. Another one of the pros is that a lot of the kit they put on it is very good. Stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think would be good. So the saddle is, you know, really comfortable. I mean, I've spent like a lot of money on saddles over the years, as I know a lot of bike riders have done, trying to find that magic saddle, and you never really quite find it. Well, this is as close as I've got to any saddle that's sort of as good as any of the ones I spent a lot of money on, so that's a good thing. So another bit of kit they've put on this bike, which, as I say, I've only done 200 miles on it, so I can't really say yet, are these Donnelly tyres. They're just perfect for coming into winter. 30mm tyres, really grippy. You know, I've not done what I've done with other bikes and sort of whipped them straight up and put on some Contis. These look like they're actually going to do a job for a little bit, which is great. So yeah, you know, these little bits of kit that they put on are really good. One thing I wasn't expecting, another pro of this bike, is how good it is at descending. It is so good at descending. I think it's a combination of the stability of the frame, the wider tyres, and just the, you know, the braking that you get through these disc brakes. The 105s, they're just awesome, and it just gives you so much more confidence to sort of brake late and let things go. You really can't buy that, you know. But you can, obviously I have. So another pro is, I think this bike is far more capable than Genesis make out, and there's good reason for that. I don't think they want to advertise the Equilibrium disc as a bike which can do this kind of stuff, but it clearly can. The geometry, everything on it suggests it is very much like a gravel bike. It is a very well built bike. It's a steel frame that's comfortable as heck. It's got the clearance and size to do it. The reason Genesis, I think, don't want you to know too much about that is because they're obviously trying to sell this as sort of an Audax long distance bike, but they've got bikes in the range which cross over too much. So they've got, you know, the Quirks or whatever you cross I don't know, that one anyway, that's like a staple for sort of off-roading, gravel and other various, you know, sort of off-roady type bikes. But this does this no problem, you know, so you can go off-road, so it's very much a pro for the bike. So do think if you want a bit of a gravelly bike but you're thinking, oh well, will it do it? My god, yes it will. So that's a big thumbs up really for it. Something that probably Genesis aren't telling people too much. So as I said, that's some of the pros. I think all the pros, there's probably more. I'll probably end up doing one of those add-on videos after this. But that's pretty much all the pros done. So what are the cons? Well, the first con is this bike with pedals and everything on it is not far off 11 kilos, which is heavy. So my other bike's a carbon, 7 kilo bike, and compared to that, this bike just does not climb as well. And it's quite frustrating if you're somewhere like this. So there is nowhere flat around here, and climbing is part of your ride, whichever way you go. So it's a bit disappointing if you are buying it to sort of climb around here. On saying that, another one of the cons is the wheels. So the wheels are really heavy, and I think you could easily stick on some hoops, which should be some wheels and some rotors, which would be a lot lighter. I've looked, and you can save a few 100 grams on your rotors, and wheels, you can get way lighter than the ones they stuck on this stock, which I think would probably help. And the other thing, it just doesn't kick. So if you want to, put some power in, you find you sort of like just pull off the power all the time because you just don't get anything from it. So it's a bit of a shame, but it isn't the bike to do that. That's the thing. This is a bike to, probably sort of cruise long term. It's got all the, various bits on it to, put racks. I've got 4 mud guards on it and everything. That's really what it's for. So I think it's a bit, it's kind of criticising, sort of a truck for being too heavy. They are meant to be. So it's a bit like that with this bike. It's meant to be heavy. It's not crazy heavy, but I think coming from carbon like I find it really hard to sort of, I think I'll get used to it, and I'm going to put some new wheels on it, but yeah, what it comes with needs dealing with. So there's a couple of things that aren't really cons, but are just sort of irks that have annoyed me about the bike, now having had it a few weeks. So probably the first thing is, if you look at the front, let me show you this. So the hose for the front brake, look at that, goes in there, so lovely, and just pops out there. How nicely is that engineered? So now we move to the back of the bike, and it's just sort of here, and just sort of goes across, with a couple of zip ties on, 4 zip ties. And I know it's a steel frame, and I get that, it's probably not unusual for that, but I just think it just looks a bit, and I know you can only do so many things with hoses, but I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. So another irk, which actually I've seen on some reviews as being a positive, but I think it's a bit of a thing I don't really like, is the tops of the bars. You can probably see they're sort of flared out a bit. And this is supposed to be so it's more comfortable doing long distances, which I can get. But if you want to say put on aero bars, which you might do if you're doing sort of 300-400 Audax or longer, or even a Garmin, that was a real pain to get on because it's wide. You're sort of actually going around a bit of an oval bar. Light, anything like that usually need to be fitted to a circular bar. And again, this is an irk, it's not a con, because how hard is it to change a handlebar, and everyone's got the favourite anyway, so you probably would. But it's just one of those things that out of the box you think, oh man, that's a bit annoying. So yeah, overall what I'd say is, like, don't buy this bike if you're gonna go, think you're gonna go up climbing in the Alps or something, because it just isn't the bike for that. It's a bike for, a light off-road. I've just done this on it, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's a swamp. I went through it no problem, but it's a bike for cruising around gently between hedgerows in the summer, I guess, not for smashing up hills to get a PB, or chasing Strava segments or out like that. So yeah, choose your weapon really. As I say, I want to make it a bit lighter. I think it is too heavy generally, and that seems to be a chord with most other people who've got one, but yeah, we've got it now, haven't we? So we're gonna have to ride it. So yeah, I did a 200 DIY last week, and I'll probably take you on it, when we do the next ones, because I'm going to start doing some organising hopefully for DIYs, and not DIYs, perms. That's my next goal. So I'll probably do a video about how to do a DIY as well, because I know some people on Audax UK have been saying they don't know how to do it, and I did one last week and it's sort of the easiest thing ever, and now we're going into lockdown. I'm guessing a lot of people are going to do it, so that'll probably be my next video. So yeah, if you want to see that, obviously subscribe, and I'll put that up in the next few days. Thanks for watching. Cheers.